How's it going, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to a brand new discussion video. Today we're going to be talking about the cards I'm most excited for in the upcoming set, Rise of the Duelist, which, as I'm recording this, comes out on the 7th, which is a Friday, so about a week out I'm making this video. And boy, oh boy, there is a lot of stuff to be looking forward to in this particular set. And a lot of cards that I figured, I would be excited for, a lot of you guys would be excited for, since we all pretty much share the same deck interest, on the channel over the years. Also, a reminder to vote Mermail in the Create a Card project. You guys need to vote Mermail. Do you want a world exclusive Mermail card, right? Do you want a world exclusive Mermail card? I do too. It'd be cool to see Mermails make a return to form with a very nice new Mermail cards. And it doesn't have to do with hand loop, but something that just helps the Mermail strategy as a whole thrive. Maybe search Teus, who knows? Make sure you vote for Mermail. But either way, that's besides the point. We got tons of cool support in here, ranging for tons of different decks, a lot of really cool cards just in general. We're going to go through and talk about them all, share why I'm excited about them, etc., etc. Before we get into it, though, I want to give a quick shout out to Imperium Duelist. They've got two brand new mats out. They're Toon Extravaganza V2 and the Solemn Wars playmat. I highly recommend you guys check them out if you haven't seen them yet. They got tons of great products on their site: dice, deck boxes, sleeves, you name it, t-shirts, mat bags, tons of great stuff. You can get all 10% off using that discount code right here, Winner Kills 10 off. That's right, you get everything for 10% off, and you help support the channel in the process, which is huge. Same thing with using that affiliate link to TCG Player down in the description below. Anytime you guys buy cards using that link, a small bit of the revenue of your purchase will go right back in to the channel, which of course is greatly appreciated. And that's really about it. A reminder to join my Discord down below, because some of the suggestions I got were from some Discord members and some Twitch subs. Link to my Twitch down below as well. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So the first card I want to talk about is Win the Wind Charmer. I'm actually super excited to see this card coming in Rise of the Duelist. I've been very excited about this card for quite some time since seeing it. And I'm just wondering, how good would this card be for Speedroids? And lo and behold, it's really good, and we're getting it in just a week's time. Some people already got their hands on it as we speak, and I envy those people. But it says you can discard this card and one other wind monster. Add one wind monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand except itself. Also, you can activate monster effects for the rest of the turn except wind monsters. When a wind monster you control is destroyed by battle while this card is in your hand, you can special summon this card. You can only use each effect of Win the Wind Charmer once per turn. So, basically, ditch itself and any other wind monster. Could be something like Dendaiko Duke for an awesome graveyard setup, and you get to search something like Terror Top, Marble Machine, you name it. Sting the Poison is absolutely incredible for the strategy. 100% a starter card. It's like a Teus, if you will, for the Speedroid strategy, or any wind strategy nonetheless. But I'm a sucker for Speedroids, have been for quite some time, and this card is going to help out greatly with the entire strategy. Now, speaking of Speedroids, we do have two new Speedroid cards in this set. We actually are getting Speedroid Block and Roll, which I believe is a super rare, and Win the Wind Charmer is an ultra rare as well, which is very cool. And we're also getting the Speedroid Car Turbo, which is also an ultra rare, much like that of Win the Wind Charm. But out of the all the Speedroid support in this set, Car Turbo I think is the better card, so we'll take a look at that one first. Level 3 tuner with 800 attack and 1200 defense, so again, searchable via Win the Wind Charmer. It says if you control a wind monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot activate monster effects for the rest of the turn except wind monsters against Speedroids. Like, that restriction might as well not even be there, because we're all about wins, Chief, so it does not even matter. It says you can banish this card and one Speedroid monster from your graveyard. All wind monsters you control currently gain 800 attack until the end of this turn. So that secondary effect is pretty nice for helping secure a game, especially with something like Chanbara. Boosting that attack up even more is absolutely welcome. I believe you can get up to like a 3k and a 3200 Chanbara, which could definitely help secure a game a lot faster, which this deck sometimes does have a hard time doing. But basically, it's just a free extender. If you control a wind monster, which 90% of the time you're going to, you can special summon it for your hand for free. And it's a level 3 tuner, which is going to make life a lot easier when going about all your extravagant synchro plays. So, very, very much excited for that. It's another good level 3 to possibly try to get off of something like your rubber band shooter. And you guys can definitely expect to see a Speedroid profile once all of this stuff is finally in my hands. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at the other Speedroid card, which is the Block and Roll. I'm just pulling them up here on this Yugipedia app on my phone. But Block and Roll says, if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can special summon one Speedroid token, win machine attack 0, defense 0, with a level equal to the original level of the synchro monster that uses card as material. So this card could be pretty nice, maybe as a one-of tech, maybe to try to revive with something like, or maybe try to revive with double yo-yo, or summon out of your hand with something like that of the Horse Stilts. Could be pretty nice to set that up, especially with that token-like effect that could come in handy, especially if you're going into some of the smaller synchros like that of Hagoita or Puzzle, getting a level 5 or 4 token out onto the board. Could be pretty cool, but again, I don't think it's nearly as good as that of Car Turbo. So that's pretty much it for all the Speedroid-related support. Now we'll go into the other cards I'm looking forward to. So of course, this video would not be complete without talking about the Infernoble support. If you guys have been following the channel recently, you've seen that I am very, very adamant about playing the Infernoble strategy, and it's really great to see that the rest of the cards for the entire deck will be released, at least what it needs to be playable, will be released in this given set. Primarily, we're talking about the two synchros that of Roland and Charles. We're talking about the equip spell Durendal, and we're talking about that of Ogier, Oliver, and Astolfo, alongside some other Infernoble cards. Not too necessary for the strategy, not the best ones, but they're still in there nonetheless. So we have the Infernoble Knight Captain Roland, Warrior Synchro Tuner effect, level 5, fire, 2000 attack, 500 defense, 1 tuner, 1 or more non-tuner monsters. If this card is synchro summon, you can activate this effect during the end phase of this turn. Send one equip spell from your deck to the graveyard, i.e. Smoke Grenade of the Thief. Then add one warrior monster from your deck to your hand. So pretty good if you ask me. Then during the main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, quick effect, you can target one warrior monster you control. Equip this card to that monster you control as an equip spell that gives it 500 attack. You can only use each effect of Infernoble Knight Captain Roland once per turn. So that's how you're going to trigger the other effect of Charles, thus giving you a pop on the turn, on the opponent's turn, and giving your monster a 500 attack boost, alongside setting up the Smoke Grenade play with Charles during your end phase, and also netting you a search in the end phase as well. So it is a very, 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 very good card for the strategy. It's one of those cards that doesn't do too much mid-combo. It's something you make mid-combo that allows you to go up into Charles eventually, but the end phase setup it offers is absolutely incredible. I know end phase effects aren't always most favorable, as opposed to immediate effect activations for continuing play and extension, but when we're talking about setting up something like Smoke Grenade of the Thief, it's very, very much worth it on providing you with a follow-up for next turn on top of that, which is even better. So the next card we have is the Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles, my boy Chuck. Basically says 1 tuner, 1 or more non-tuner monsters is a level 9 warrior synchro effect with 3000 attack, 200 defense. And it says, if an equip card becomes equipped to a monster on the field, even during the damage step, you can destroy 1 card on the field. So this is sort of that synergy with Roland being able to equip itself during either player's turn. So you can equip it to your Charles, it'll gain 500 attack, and you'll be able to pop a card during the opponent's turn. And of course, you'll be able to, once that equip spell gets equipped to it, the Smoke Grenade, you'll be able to apply that effect to destroy the Smoke Grenade, thus taking a card out of the opponent's hand, and we'll get to that effect here. It basically says, during the end phase, you can equip 1 spell from your hand or graveyard, thus Roland is getting you that equip spell to the grave to begin with. Then you can equip 1 Fire Warrior monster from your deck to this card as an equip spell that gives it 500 attack. So that's where that other effect comes in. This card, I believe, is an ultra rare. Roland is a common, which is kind of nice. So yeah, very, very excited to see this card here alongside all of the other Infernoble cards. And speaking of Infernoble, we still have the Infernoble Knight Ogier, 1500 attack, 2000 defense, level 4. While this card is an equip card, the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can only use each of the following effects of Infernoble Knight Ogier once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send 1 Noble Arms card or 1 Fire Warrior monster except itself from your deck to the graveyard. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 Warrior monster control, equip this card to that monster you control. So it's basically an Armageddon Knight for the Infernoble strategy. And a very pivotal card I found in testing for basically setting up anti-Nibiru combos through Olivier. And the nice thing about Olivier, or Ogier I should say, is that it's so incredibly searchable within the strategy. You know, you have Heritage of the Chalice, which can essentially grab it. You have Durendal, which can grab it, and you have all of your Ignites, which can grab it as well. So you really only need to play one copy. Unless you don't want to play the Ignite engine, then you could probably go ahead and run 3. It's entirely up to you, as obviously player preference. Then we have the Infernoble Knight Oliver here, also super rare alongside that of Ogier. Warrior Tuner, effect level 4, 1000 attack, 1500 defense. While this card is an equipped card, your opponent cannot target the equipped monster with card effects, so very, very good. Ogier providing protection from destruction. This one providing protection from targeting. So you can pretty much make one of your monsters at some point unable to be targeted, unable to be destroyed by card effects, which I heard is pretty good. You can only use each of the following effects of Infernoble Knight Oliver once per turn. You can send one Fire Warrior monster or one equipped spell from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand as a level 1 monster. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Warrior monster you control, equip this card to that monster you control. So, one other thing I didn't really talk about as much is their ability to equip themselves from the graveyard. That actually is pretty huge because not only are you providing that protection that they offer, but you're making cards like your Immortal Phoenix Gearfried live immediately without having to sacrifice any other your equipped spells that you may have on the field, whether it be something that's equipped to, per se, Borreload Savage Dragon, or one of your equipped spells, whatever it may be. So pretty solid lineup there of Infernoble support. There are other Infernoble cards, but those are the ones that I'm specifically most excited about at the moment, so we're going to go ahead and move on. Now, this next card I'm going to talk about here is probably one of the bigger money cards of the set, but that still doesn't mean I can't be excited about it. See how it interacts with the meta, and hopefully it'll drop so I can get my hands on a playset. But it's basically a different version of Dark Ruler No More. The Forbidden Droplet basically says it is also a quick play spell. Send any number of other cards from your hand and or field to the graveyard until the end of this turn. Have the attack of exactly that many effect monsters your opponent controls. Also negate their effects. Your opponent cannot activate cards or the effects of cards with the same original type of card, monster, spell, or trap as the card sent to the graveyard to activate this card in response to this card's activation. So it's a Dark Ruler No More, basically in quick play form. Some may argue it's a bit more versatile, but the discard cost can be pretty heavy. But nonetheless, a still very interesting board-breaking card for the format. Nonetheless. So another card that I don't even need to pull it up is the Triple Tactical Talents. I don't know why they change it from 3 Tactical Talents to Triple Tactics Talent. I'm not entirely sure. But basically, it says if your opponent activates a monster effect during your main phase, you can activate one of the following effects. Either draw 2 cards, look at your opponent's hand and discard one of them, or take control of one monster your opponent has until the end of the turn. I believe it's actually shuffle that card and deduct the card that you take out of their opponent's hand. The card's absolutely phenomenal. It's also a Starlight rare in this set, no doubt. Extremely powerful card. I'm very excited to see how it interacts with the meta. Hopefully it'll give more going second decks a chance, because right now it's just combo, whether it be Eldritch, Adamantipator, anything along the lines of that. It just seems so combo heavy right now. And is flooding the game with tons of really broken build-a-board or anti-build-a-board cards the way to go about it? I'm not entirely sure, but it is what it is. I'd love to have a copy of this card in my Mech Knight deck or 3, but if I get my hands on it, I do. If I don't, I don't. But that is that. So those are basically the 2 and only 2 most powerful sort of like generic board-breaking cards in this set. On top of that, we also have another card that is called, I believe, Blizzard. This is a pretty interesting card. This is one of the first of its kind. It is a quick play. Target one face-up spell your opponent controls this turn. Negate the activated effects on the field of that card, as well as spells with the same original name. Also, if the targeted card would be sent to your opponent's graveyard, return it to your opponent's hand instead. You can only activate 1 Blizzard per turn. So, this is pretty cool. This is actually a quick play spell that can negate other face-up spells. So you can negate a Lightning Storm. You can negate a Dark Ruler No More with this. You can negate a Forbidden Droplet if they did not discard spells. You could negate a Triple Tactics Talent. So this is a pretty, I think, what might be a pretty underrated card. You can negate Twin Twisters. You can negate Cosmic Cyclone. You can negate so many things with this card. If it's a spell, you can negate it. It's also a quick play. Very, very nice card. I believe it's also a common in the set, so very easy to get your hands on as well. And then we also have the Fury of the Kaiyu Shin. I probably butchered that name, but it's basically the spell that says you can add Torrential Tribute, then if a water monster control would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So that card is pretty cool. I think we got it in a previous set as a higher rarity, but it's in the set as a common now. So it could be interesting for some water control strategies, but not overly super over the top the best, I think, but still a pretty cool card nonetheless to see in the set. So this next card here is a suggestion from a member in my Discord, and we're going to be talking about Mathematic Diameter. Level 4 Cyber's Tuner effect, 1000 attack, 1500 defense. When this card is normal summon, you can target one level 4 Cyber's monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but it cannot activate its effects. A Mathematic Synchro or Xyz monster that was summoned using this card on the field as material gains this effect. You can only use each of the preceding effects of Mathematic Diameter once per turn. Once during the turn, this card was special summoned. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can negate that effect. So pretty nice to see that there, and it could also add on to some of the already, powerful Xyz that Mathematic has access to. But now that you're providing the ability to be able to negate a card is actually just way, way better. And it's also an Altair in a sense, or a Wolf Bark that can revive something from the grave upon normal summon. So a pretty solid card to add to the strategy as a whole. So I'm going to try to rapid fire through some of these next cards here. We have Drill Driver Vespinato, 2 level 5 monsters. Once per turn, you can also Xyz summon Drill Driver Vespinato by using 1 rank 4 Xyz monster control as material. Transfer his materials to this card. This card cannot be used as a material for an Xyz summon the turn it was Xyz summoned. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage. If this Xyz summon card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can target 1 level 5 or lower monster in your graveyard to special summon it. So this card I found could have some great synergy in the train strategy, and is something that I've tested into great effect in the train strategy, alongside as a good rank 5 to go along that of River Stormer. So very excited for this card. Next up here we have Chaos Rule, the Chaotic Magical Dragon, a level 8 Dragon Synchro effect, 3000 attack, 2500 defense, 1 tuner, +1 non-tuner monsters. If this card is Synchro summoned, you can activate the top 5 cards of your deck. And if you do, you can add 1 Excavated Light or Dark monster to your hand. Also send the remaining cards to the graveyard. Then it says you can banish 1 light and 1 dark monster from your hand or graveyard, except this card. Special summon this card from your graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. So we have a very, very powerful excavation effect. And it also lets you basically add any of those light or dark cards to your hand, but it can also revive itself from the grave on its own by just banishing a light and dark monster. So it's kind of like a reverse chaos effect. We see a lot of chaos monsters summon themselves from the hand by banishing a light and dark from the grave. This one can just bring itself back from the grave just to continue to extend or help to recover. Very, very solid card nonetheless, and the artwork, not to mention, looks very cool, and will also think is an ultra rare in the set, maybe a secret rare. I'm not entirely sure, but definitely one of the cards to try to pick up if you can. Next up is Frightfur Cruel Whale. Frightfur is one of those strategies that's been kind of one of those, kind of always in the back of my head strategies. My brother's played it in the past. I've covered it on the channel, but it's cool to see Cruel Whale coming to the TCG here. Level 9 Fiend Fusion effect, 1 Edgent monster +1 Fluffle monster. If this card is fusion summoned, you can destroy 1 card on both players' fields. Once per turn, quick effect, you can target 1 fusion monster control, send 1 Frightfur card from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard except Frightfur Cruel Whale, and if you do, the targeted monster gains attack equal to half its original attack until the end of this turn, so allowing to facilitate those OTKs even further. Then next up is the Megalith Full. This card is pretty pivotal, if you ask me, in terms of the Megalith strategy. This card kind of actually breaks the deck in my opinion, but basically, and it also is a common too, nonetheless. Rock, level 2 ritual effect, 500 attack, 2000 defense. You can ritual summon this card with a Megalith card. If this card is ritual summon, you can target 1 ritual monster in your graveyard. This card's level becomes that level of that target. Then add that target to your hand. During the main phase, quick effect, you can activate this effect, ritual summon 1 Megalith monster from your hand or deck by attributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster. You can only use each effect of Megalith Full once per turn. So, quick effect ritual summoning from the deck. I don't really need to say anything more. This card is absolutely bonkers. Next one here, we have a new Gizmek card, Gizmek Okami, the dreaded Deluge Dragon, level 10 water machine effect, 2950, 2950. You can pay 1500 life points, destroy all monsters in the field that were special summoned from the extra deck. Also, you can only attack with one monster this turn. In some cases that may be enough, but either way, you can only use each of the following effects of Gizmek Okami, the dreaded Deluge Dragon, once per turn. If 2 or more monsters are special summoned from the extra deck are on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. That seems pretty easy to pull off, especially since it doesn't say it has to be on like either player's field. If 2 or more monsters special summoned from the extra deck are on the field, special summon this card from your hand. If this card is in your possession, is sent to your graveyard by an opponent's card, you can banish one monster from your opponent's graveyard, then gain life points equal to its attack. So, the summoning condition may seem pretty situational. I mean, if you're playing against something like Subterror, or a deck that really doesn't use the extra deck, could be pretty dead, but I figured against most of the meta, this card could be pretty useful, since everybody and their mother is going into the extra deck. So, very excited for this card, and the artwork on it is just gorgeous, and it's cool to see that it is also a water monster. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up the video. Honorable mention, of course, to all the Dogmatica cards, or formerly known as the Dragma cards. The Gaia support and the Curse of Dragon support is actually pretty cool. There are some cards in that set I wouldn't mind picking up just to have for nostalgia's sake. I'll probably be buying a couple boxes myself, and you guys with that will be seeing a box opening on the channel once it comes out in my local card shop. And also honorable mention to the DDD cards that we got in there, DD Arc, DD Dog. I don't think they're that good, unfortunately, but it still is cool nonetheless to see DD cards printed in the set here in 2020. Hopefully this video wasn't too long. Hopefully I was able to provide some useful information to all of you. And if you liked the video, please leave a like. Also consider leaving a comment on what cards you personally are most excited for down in the comment section below. Consider subscribing if you're not already. And don't forget to check out the links to help support out the channel down below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. And of course, an absolutely colossal omega shout out to my divine level channel members here on YouTube, Academic Thick, Travis Harris, and Zors. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support the channel.